Hello, I'm David Hutton of Plastics Today. I'm here with Adam Carter, Vice President of WardJet. Thanks for taking the time with us today. Uh, First off, tell us a little bit about the CNC Expo that we're having here and what you hope to accomplish with that.
So we've got the CNC Expo happening over the next 2 days here. We've got a lot of new products and excellent existing products to showcase. First and foremost, we've got new products like our Apex 90. We've got all of our WaterJet lines out there, as well as our panel builder and our new load line, HD and Assist. So we're hoping to show people that we build machines that are purpose-built for them. We've got years and years of industry experience, and we've partnered with a lot of our customers to create solutions that are meant for exactly what they're doing, as opposed to just a generic machine.
Okay. And could you elaborate on how these technologies are advancing precision machining for materials commonly used in the plastics industry?
Certainly. With AXYZ Automation Group being, AXYZ knives and routers, and then WardJet water jets, we've got a variety of products. So first and foremost, picking the right tool for the job is key. Certain things are going to process materials much, much faster than just a general purpose tool trying to do everything. So having that selection is one of our strengths. Another piece of it is, again, we're creating some of these features, and we've got the software integrated with it, like taper angle control, that allows us to cut parts much, much quicker while taking the taper off the sides and retaining the precision that you need. Tooling advances, they change monthly practically, so matching those tools with the right material gives you a lot more precision, a lot more speed. And really, it's about our applications team also working with the customer. I mean, we can go to the very, very high end of precision, but most people don't need the high end precision. They're trying to make money. They're trying to be as efficient as possible. So selecting the right tool for the job that gets you what you need in the quickest amount of time possible.
Automation seems to be a key theme with features like load line assist, fully automated material handling systems. How do these innovations address the specific challenges faced by manufacturers in the plastics sector, such as reducing labor costs and improving productivity efficiency?
So those two products that you mentioned, the load line and the HD and the assist, those are targeted at those efficiencies. One of the biggest problems that we've seen is, particularly say in the ACM space, is the sheets are huge. They're 5 foot by 18 foot. Takes two people to load them on the machine. They're awkward, etc. And that's the same challenge with anybody doing panel cutting and things like that. So the load line assist, and HD, those are meant to take a pretty mundane task off of the operator, giving him time to do higher value tasks, whether that be camming or secondary processing, you name it. So allowing that to happen either automatically or not having to use the jib crane, it's going to be safer, it's going to be more efficient, and it's going to be more accurate, to be honest, loading the machine and, like I said, assisting there.
Sustainability is a growing concern across the plastics industry. Can you share how the technologies demonstrated at this expo can contribute to more sustainable manufacturing?
Certainly. I'm going to lean a little bit on the WaterJet for this one. WaterJet is a very, you go out there and it's not very clean looking, but it's a fairly clean process. It's a cold cutting process. So particularly on the water only or the pure water space, very, very small amount of kerf. Sometimes people are only cutting 3/1000 wide. So the amount of waste generated is very, very low. There's no off-gassing or anything when processing some of these materials. Any waste that does come off is collected, easily disposed of, or recycled depending on the material, as well as all of the water coming through. You only use about a gallon a minute when you're cutting with a water-only process, but it can be recycled. Any washdown water can be recycled. So it's a fairly closed-loop system and pretty efficient overall.
The event highlights advanced capabilities like the 5-axis cutting and improved V-grooving processes. How do these innovations open up new possibilities for manufacturers working with complex plastic components or multi-material assemblies?
All right, yeah, that's a big one. So 5-axis is something that we've been doing a while now. it opens up all kinds of worlds, both design flexibility, because now you've got reach where you've never had it before. More axes gives you more access. So you may not need any setups on your part, depending on how complex it is. Like I said, you can process things and get into spaces you've never done before. We're highlighting our Apex 90, which is a full 5-axis cutting head out there. You can get inside pipes, you can get, around materials and whatnot. So it just opens up a whole world of things. The WardJet itself, talking to the multiple materials, it'll cut just about anything you want it to. Mm. So you can go from, cutting a plastic one time and then go right into steel right next to it, or if it's part of the same part, or a composite or a laminate. And it's the same thing with the router as well. You can do in-process tool changing just like any other machine, and process a multitude of materials.
For attendees from the plastics industry, what key takeaways or actionable insights can they expect to gain from the live demonstrations here today?
I think to my previous point that, when you see the machines run and you see the construction of them, I want them to see that they are built for them. It may not be the best fit for somebody cutting chicken nuggets on a water only machine, but if you're cutting rolls of material, sheets of material, and you want high throughput, high productivity, the J series is your machine. If you're doing panel cutting and you want it to be automatically loaded and label printed and just have the whole workflow taken care of for you, Tracked Panel Builder is your machine. So I want them to see that we are building things for them.
So. And lastly, what's your outlook for the industry over, say, the next year to 3 years?
Things are looking pretty good. There's a lot of modular housing, things like that, that are happening, which is very exciting on the router side, especially in the panel space. Same thing on the WardJet side, again, with packaging and foam and just all of these things that are going into new products daily. It's really looking pretty rosy.
Great. Are there any issues with things like tariffs or anything? Have you had any challenges there?
Not in our space. 98% of the machines are sourced in the U.S., so we're not having too much trouble there. We've had to navigate intercompany things just with AXYZ being up in Canada and whatnot, but it's still same company, so there's not really a huge impact there. But overall, just the uncertainty that it seems to give people, just adds a little bit of pressure for everybody.